Hi, it's Josh again. I'm here to review another movie. And the next movie I'm going to be reviewing is for a movie called Mother, directed by Darren Aronofsky and starring Jennifer Lawrence, Javier Bardem, and Michelle Pfeiffer. And before I get into my issues, my criticism of this movie, I just want to say one thing right off the bat. Darren Aronofsky, you have a very, very weird imagination because this movie was very weird. And this movie is very much style over substance. And this movie is about, what is this movie about? Because it is very, very, very hard to explain. So I'm going to try my best to explain it to you. And if this review is all over the place, it is because this movie is literally all over the place. So it's about this writer, played by Javier Bardem, and his wife, played by Jennifer Lawrence. And their characters, by the way, do not have any names. I have no idea why, but they just don't have any names. And they live in this nice house, and eventually some very strange people start coming over to the house. Just some random guest out of nowhere just show up at the house. And they destroy stuff, and they want Javier Bardem's stuff just because he is this great writer, and they want all of his stuff because they view him as this really great person. So his stuff has a lot of value. Even stuff like kitchen supplies, cooking supplies, a couch, anything that he owns, everybody wants. I'm just going to say some of the stuff that they do. One of the guests just randomly starts painting Javier Bardem's house. Just randomly, out of nowhere, just starts painting his house. Without even being asked, Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem did not even want the house painted, and this random person just paints the house. And there's a scene where somebody goes to the bathroom in their house. Just a random guest, without even asking, hey, can I use your restroom? They just walk in without even being announced, use the restroom, and walk out. Yeah, if you're creeped out by that, congratulations. That means you're a human being, because if somebody walked into my house and used my restroom without my permission, I would be very creeped out, and I would probably want to call the police. And another thing that happens in the movie is Jennifer Lawrence gets pregnant, and there's a crowd of people outside her house because she can't even get out of her house to go to the doctor because she's in labor, because there's these people surrounding her house, so she can't even get her house to go to a hospital to have the baby properly. So Javier Bardem helps Jennifer Lawrence have the baby, and then the crowd outside the house wants to see the baby, and they end up killing the baby just because they're so wild and just because they're acting like animals. The people in this movie act like animals. This review is all over the place because this movie is literally all over the place. This movie did not make a lick of sense. This movie is very much style over substance. Because you know what? This movie can be viewed as having a whole bunch of symbolism and a whole bunch of meaning behind it. But for me, personally, I did not like it. I can respect Darren Aronofsky's attempt to have all this symbolism because at the end of the movie, I think there's something about, I guess, something about religion. I think Christianity is a part of this movie, although it's just really hard to explain. This movie, I think the writing to this movie, they did a pretty decent job of coming up with a pretty unique story. That's why it's hard to kind of like judge this movie, because the writing is very ambitious. It has very, very unique writing. The acting is good, but for me personally, this movie was just too bizarre for me. It did not follow the normal structure of a film, and that is just an issue for me personally. Now, some people would like this very, very weird storytelling. Some people like style over substance. But for me, I did not care about the characters enough to care about this movie. I have to care about the characters. Just because you have so much style does not mean that your movie is good. Sometimes simple is best, in my opinion. So for me, I'm just going to be nice and give this movie a grade of a D. Because for me personally, I did not like it, but I know some people might like that it has the style over substance. But for me personally, character is way more important. I have to care about the characters. I have to connect with the characters. And for me personally, I did not connect with a single character in this movie because they were just so weird, and they're either weird or creepy. Those are the two character traits in this movie: weird or creepy. And this movie just really didn't do it for me, so I'm just going to have to give it a D. I hope you enjoyed my review, even though it was all over the place. Bye.